Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Today we have a great class. We're gonna be practicing for the IELTS speaking section, especially task 2. At the beginning, we're gonna have a little introduction with some tips and hints, and then we're gonna go to the practice section where we're gonna be practicing how to answer these type of questions. But first, we gotta have a strategy, and we need to have it all set so we can go ahead and show the best of our speaking, the best of our abilities. But first, we had to have a plan. That's important. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna get in trouble. So today we're going to go over the important tips, the important points that we have to cover, and then establish a operation plan to go and answer these questions. So today I'm waiting for Fabi, who's gonna be here at any moment, and we're gonna first catch up a little bit, talk about how was our week, and then we're gonna go ahead and start practicing. Do a little bit of a warm up. So right, guys, that's gonna be it. It's kind of hot today. It is May 9th, 2016. Tomorrow is Mother's Day here in Mexico. So it's a very special day for Mexican people because moms in Mexico are super important. Fabi, you're here.
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
I was just talking to myself, telling myself that tomorrow it's Mother's Day.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a huge day, at least in Mexico, right? Like, I think it's one of the most important uh, days in the country. I mean, I think it's just Christmas, maybe the Day of the Dead, maybe because we remember people that is no longer with us,
Yeah,
and then I guess Mother's Day. What do you think?
yeah, it's a big deal here in Mexico. Have you
It
have?
is. It is.
Do you have plans?
Well, good question. So my mom is not gonna be around. My mom is traveling with my dad. They're actually going to visit my grandma, and so I'm not gonna be able to spend tomorrow with my mom. And my wife, my wife, probably we're gonna be spending time with my mother-in-law because my wife wants to go and see her mom. So probably I'm gonna stay with my in-laws the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And today I'm gonna go to my mom's house. Actually, after when the class finishing the class, I'm gonna go to see my mom and congratulate her, for this great creation.
Yes.
And then I guess that's it. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I'm not sure yet, but every year in my family, we spend the day all together. I mean, not just my family who lives in my house. I mean, the whole family, a lot of mothers.
Oh, geez.
Because I don't know what it is, but in my family, women are abundantes.
Abundant?
Yeah.
So what's the ratio?
I think for every 4 women, there is 1 man.
Wow, that's quite of a ratio right there.
Yeah,
So maybe it's in the genes or something.
I think so.
So by the way, do you have any brothers, sisters, siblings?
Sisters, 2 sisters, and
Okay.
siblings. I think that just no, 1 cousin, and that's
Just
it.
one cousin, and only okay, one male cousin, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One male
and then
cousin.
and then female cousin. Yes.
Like our female.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up among women because I have two sisters,
Hmm.
and obviously, I mean, I grew up with my sisters and my mom, and my dad was the only man. And I don't know. It's kind of the problem with women is that they kind of make like a big deal out of little things, or how we say it in English. It's they make a storm in a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Is that the collocation? So and I live that in my house, like my two sisters, my mom, and does that happen in your family also?
Yeah. It happened too. Um, just in my house. I mean, every meal is like a battlefield.
Ah, yes, it is like that. Let me correct myself. The common and the last class we were talking about that idioms and collocations. So the common collocation is it's a storm in a teacup, not a cup of tea. A storm in a teacup.
I thought it was a storm in a glass of water.
That is the Mexican way.
Oh,
But remember, when we apply collocations in English, sometimes we have to adapt them to how it is said over there. So yeah, a storm in a teacup. That's how they call it. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the chat box. So yeah, every meal it's a battlefield among yourselves, like or you like to gossip or talk about other people.
both. But because my sisters are younger than me,
Hmm.
we tend to fight a lot. Like, hey, why did you took my, I don't know, my lipstick or my clothes? That stuff, that kind of
Do you
stuff.
keep, by the way, do you keep a good relationship with your sisters besides the typical fighting? Do you
Um,
keep a good, do you think that you are friends?
yeah,
You
yeah,
can,
yeah. Yes. Um,
whenever you have a problem, support each other and talk about boyfriend or boys and clothes and go out together and have fun together. Do you do all that?
yeah. Well, the little one, it's 10 years, so the difference between our ages is a lot. But with the other one, we usually go out together.
Okay, and what do you like to do together?
Well, go to the movies, shopping, maybe go for an ice cream.
That's
That
great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I envy you because both of my sisters are way older than me. And when I was 10, my oldest sister, so my big sister was when I was 10, she was 25. So I know, big difference.
Yeah,
And
kind
yeah,
of
and
like.
my older sister was 20 20. So yeah. So I mean, to me, they never were like my sisters. To me, they always were like two other moms that
Oh,
I had. So whenever I had a problem or something, and my mom wouldn't fix it, I would go and tell my sisters, and they will usually spoil me a lot. So that's nice. That's
I
nice.
think that's lucky too.
Yeah. But I think example because I have a 10-year-old boy, and I mean he's an only child. So I wonder, like, did I do good? Did I do wrong? Maybe it would have been nice if he had had a brother or a sister, because I guess that if he once he's an adult, he's not gonna have siblings. He's not gonna have anybody to relate. He's gonna be by himself. If you want to see it like that, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But anyways, well, today we have a great class. So we're gonna continue with practicing for the IELTS speaking section, which is gonna be focusing on that. Uh, Last class we practiced how to answer task 1 questions. Remember that there are different tasks in the speaking section. So task 1 is mostly talk about yourself. In that section, the examiner
Mm-hmm.
is gonna be asking you questions. Like what do you like about your hometown? What do you do? Do you like your work? Who's a person you spend time with, etc., etc., right? It's going to be pretty much that person is going to be asking you to talk, and he's going to be throwing questions at you, and you have to just respond. You can say it's the easiest part of the speaking section.
Okay.
But then we have the task 2, and task 2 is a complete different story, because in task 2, this person is not going to ask you questions anymore. Suddenly this person is going to stop and is going to say, okay, Fabi, let me get one of my cards. He will go and have like a deck of, and he will pick one card and give it to you, and he will tell you, okay, read it, and I'm gonna give you 1 minute to prepare your answer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and he's gonna tell you, you can take notes, you can write notes, and you have 1 minute. That person has a timer, so it's gonna like click the timer, and you're gonna have 1 minute, usually a cell phone. And once the minute is over, you have to talk for 2 minutes about what it says in the card. So this is one of the most difficult tasks to do in the IELTS, especially in the speaking section, because we are not used to speaking in a monologue,
Oh.
right? We are used to engage in conversations, but we're not used to actually talk about something. Even in your own language, it is difficult sometimes to talk about something for 2, 3, 5 minutes.
Oh.
Well, in this case, thankfully, it's 1 minute. Go ahead.
They tell you how much time you need to speak.
Okay, this is the thing. Okay, they tell you that you have to talk for 2 minutes. Actually, they say from 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, my suggestion is never ever do less than 2 minutes. You want to really be closing your participation exactly 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Time yourself. You want to make sure you can answer within this window of speaking that they are giving you. Okay, so it's important for you to actually, if you can have a watch with you, and you can go check your time while you're speaking, that's fine. Okay, you want to speak for 2 minutes. Obviously, if you speak for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that person is gonna let you continue, right? But if you are going, longer than that, that person is gonna stop you and say, okay, thank you very much, let's move on. But that there is a problem there, okay? And we're gonna discuss that in a few minutes. I'm gonna tell you what's the problem of going too long, and that can lower your score, and going too short can also lower your score. So I have a little presentation, and let's take a look at the presentation. Yeah, go ahead.
So I can have my cell phone with me and put like the tempo.
You can definitely do it. Yeah, you can. If probably that person is gonna do it for you, probably.
Yeah, but
But if that person does not do it, you can actually do that.
I mean,
You can do it.
he or she is going to have his own chronometer, but is he going to tell me you speak for 2 minutes, or you speak for 1 minute and a half, or it's just for him?
Well, that person is definitely gonna tell you. That definitely is gonna tell you just the instruction like this. It's gonna tell you, okay, here is this. Here is your card. Okay, read it. You're gonna have 1 minute to take notes and come up with your answer, and then you're gonna have to talk about it for from 1 to 2 minutes. That's the instruction he's gonna give you. Time you and show you the timer is completely up to him. So my recommendation, if you want to have your own timer, that's perfectly fine. All right. My recommendation is practice and practice answering questions for 2 minutes so you can have that feeling and you don't have to be looking at the timer and getting nervous. So practice asking those questions for maybe 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes 30 seconds, and practice answering in this kind of within that those lapses of time, so you can actually know when you are going to running too much or you are being too short.
Okay.
Alrighty, so let me go and show you my presentation. It's over here. Okay, so today we're focusing in the task 2, as we just mentioned, and basically you're gonna have a question card. That is what they're gonna give you. They are already printed out. Example of one typical question card, very similar to what we've been practicing. Describe one of your childhood memories. You should say what is it, when it happened, how it affected you in your life, and explain why you still remember it. Okay, and there are all sorts of topics. Okay, they vary a lot. Um, it can be about anything, literally about anything. Don't try to go online and memorize question cards. It's not gonna help you out. You gotta be prepared. Okay? Usually, it's gonna have a main topic and it's gonna have 3 points, no more than 3, and you're gonna have to talk about each one of these points. It's important.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and check here. Okay. 1 minute to prepare. Now, this is key. Okay. The preparation of your answer is the key, actually. Okay. If you structure well, if you know exactly what to write down, and you do it in a very organized way during that minute, this is going to be a piece of cake. The 2 minutes is going to be a piece of cake. Okay. But don't take this lightly. Okay. Many students get too confident and say, "Oh, don't worry, I don't have to take notes. I know what I'm going to say. This is a piece of cake for me." When they do it, they completely get nervous. They get lost. They go off topic. They stutter and they mumble, and ends up being a mess. Okay, so yeah, always take this minute to prepare. This is very important, and I'm gonna show you how to do it.
Okay.
Okay, let's keep moving over here. And yes, it is a monologue. Okay, that person is not gonna interrupt you at all. Ask him questions or ask for his opinion during this section. Okay, he will not intervene in any way. It's a complete monologue, and you have to start it and finish it yourself. So be prepared to talk about it. Okay, don't address him directly or don't ask him a question unless it's rhetorical. Okay. You can say, "Well, I think it's a fantastic place, isn't it?" Because of, okay, you're not expecting him to actually answer that. Who wouldn't love going to the carnival? Ha ha ha! It's great. I love it. But you don't say like, "Oh, and what do you think? Have you ever been to Veracruz?" That person, if that person has to answer that, that's gonna lower your score.
Okay.
Okay, so be prepared to talk for 2 minutes at least. What kind of topics? These are very common topics, but not exclusive. Okay, you can have any other topic, but these are some very common ones. Describe an item. Okay, you're gonna get a car and describe your favorite. What's the favorite? Your favorite book? Describe your favorite musical instrument. Describe what is your favorite thing in your house, your favorite furniture in your house. Um, what kind of means of transportations do you usually take and prefer? Talk about them. So describes are gonna be about descriptions. Okay, describing, talking about somebody, describing. Describe an event, journey, vacation, a holiday, a birthday, embarrassing moment, a happy moment, a sad moment. Describe some sort of thing that happened. People, very common to ask about people that influenced you. Talk about your favorite teacher, your most admired artist, politician, the person you admire the most in your family, something, some kind of a person that had an impact in your life. More items, songs, movies, books. Literally, they can go everywhere. Okay, they can talk about your favorite pair of shoes, and you have to do it. Okay, historical buildings. They may go in this topic. Have you ever won? What? Oh, talk about the Great Wall of China, for example. Have you ever been there? If you were there, what would you do? What is the most? Or tell me, who would you go with? Okay. Describe an historical building in your city. What do people do when they go there? How it is? How is it? Describe it, and how you feel when you're there. These type of things. And very common about your neighborhood, your city. Where do you place where you go when you are bored? A place when you go when you want to have fun with your friends? A place where you go on weekends? These are the kind of topics we're gonna be facing. Literally everyday stuff. Okay, they're not gonna get too complicated, but the everyday things. Okay, they're not gonna tell you about very specific. Like, do you think that evolution is real or not? Describe why. Who was the author of evolution? The evolution theory. What was the name of the book? When was it published? No, I mean you're not gonna get that.
Okay.
And as I said before, it's all about description. So the magic word for description is adjectives. Adjectives and adjectives and adjectives. And actually, I'm going to show you how to take notes and prepare your question, your answer, sorry, only using adjectives. That's my strategy. That's the strategy I suggest students to do. And if you do it, I'm pretty sure you're going to be very successful. You want to spend that minute that you have coming up with adjectives and examples. That's it. You don't want to write down more than that. And I'm going to show you how, but first, one more time, as I just mentioned it, taking notes. Take those freaking notes. I mean, really take those notes. If you don't have notes, okay, you may be great speaking, you may have great conversational skills, but without notes, believe me, it's not going to be organized. So organization is very important. And it's not, you may go off topic and you wouldn't even realize you're going off topic. Okay, so keep your notes close to you and follow word by word of your notes. Don't skip words, go step by step. That is like going to like following a map. Follow the structure. And the keyword, we're gonna only write keywords and adjectives. We're not going to write full sentences.
Okay.
Okay, full sentence is a waste of time. They won't be helpful during your speaking section. And if you read out, your notes out of your, I mean, literally start reading your notes sentence by sentence, that person is going to score you very, very low, because that's not speaking, that's reading. And they are definitely not assessing reading right here. We're going to have a special section for the reading section, don't worry. Very important thing. Remember the question card? It had three different points that you have to touch. You have to answer all of the questions, all of the little points. If you skip one, your mark goes down. So my suggestion is, while you are answering the question, put your finger in the section that you are speaking about, and once you finish, point your finger into the next section, and once you finish, point your finger into on the last section. That's the only way you can make sure you actually addressed the all the points in the card. Okay, skipping points is going to lower your score.
Okay.
Lie to me. Okay, you're definitely gonna have, or you're gonna run into a question that you, and sometimes they do it on purpose, or it's just so random that sometimes they will tell you, like, okay, describe a concert you went to, who did you go with, and why do you remember it. Now maybe you have never gone to a concert. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Are we gonna say, sorry, but can you change the question because I've never been to a concert in my life? No, that's definitely going to hurt our score. So what do we do here? Lie, make up a story, steal somebody else's story. I know maybe you've seen a movie of people going to a concert and getting into all sorts of trouble, or a friend told you about this great concert, and use that, steal those stories, or just make it up, just lie in that person's face. That definitely won't hurt your score, and actually, sometimes it's easier doing that. Sometimes it's easier to lie,
Yeah.
depending on what kind of person you are. There are people that have great memories. I mean, memory retention, and they can remember perfectly what they did. And some people are very imaginative, and they can remember. They don't have good memory, but they can create stories. I mean, out of the blue. I am one of those persons. So sometimes when I have to answer a question like this, I go 50-50. Telling the truth, and I end up telling a lie. Okay, I start putting some interesting things there. So definitely this is important. If you have no idea, start making it up.
Okay.
And expand your answers, details, and examples. So if there are two words that I want you to remember during this section, is examples and detail, examples and adjectives. Those are the things that are gonna higher score. Just as we practiced the last time, use relative pronouns. Um, I went to this concert, which was the most important concert in Mexico. Who came to play? And Bono was there. Who, by the way, it's shorter than he looks on TV. Those kind of little details, those kind of little, expanding, definitely pays off. And this is a very good tip, actually. And sometimes when they tell you, like, describe your favorite food, why do you like it, how often do you eat it, who do you eat it with, etc., use your senses, not only for food, for anything. Using your senses, imagining having that dish in front of you, or being in that special place, or next to that special one, it's definitely going to help you come up with interesting adjectives if you use your senses. So you can imagine the hamburger, a McDonald's hamburger, which is the most plain dish that I can imagine in my life. But if you imagine that you have it right there, you can say, "Oh well, I like McDonald's hamburgers because the bread is so soft and warm, and they look the chips look very crispy, and I like this sauce that they use, like cheese, and you can dip it in the cheese, and it smells like $1 million. And I like to eat a McDonald's burger while I listen to a James Blunt song in my iPad." Okay, you are using all the variety of senses there: smell, touch, vision, and hearing. And that is what they want to hear you saying, describing a whole experience. So remember this one. This is a good one, a good tip. And okay, here's where we're gonna go a little slow here. Organization is very important in this section. Very. Okay, if your question is not organized, even if you were super fluent, you are not gonna get a 4. Okay, organization is key, and it has to have 3 parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. And each part has to be very clearly marked. And we mark these parts with phrases. And we're gonna go very quickly over how to organize our answer. This is more or less the way we're gonna do it. Okay, we start with the intro. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna always start with an introductory phrase. Let's think about this IELTS question, childhood memory. What would you think would be a good introductory phrase?
Maybe since.
Since, okay. Well, let me go over this a little bit more clearly. An introductory phrase is nothing but a phrase that is telling the listener that you are about to talk about something. That's it. The phrase would be something like, "I like to talk about this. When I think about my childhood, I think about this. I would like to discuss this." Um, just a phrase to tell it, this is the topic. This is what I'm going to do right now. I like to talk about the last vacation trip that I had with my dad. Okay, my favorite place in my house is my bedroom, and I like to describe it. Just tell in a very short sentence that you're going to introduce the topic.
Okay.
And rephrase the question. How do we rephrase the question? Well, remember what we do basically, it's we say the same thing as the question, words, because we don't want to just repeat it like that. Okay, so for example, if the question card is talk about a childhood memory, I'm going to start with my introductory phrase. Well, I like to talk about this trip that I had with my dad, and then rephrase the question, which is something that I always remember when I think about when I was a kid. Okay, I basically said the same thing as in the question, just change childhood for when I was a kid. Okay, but you have to use the same elements in the question. It also shows that you understand the question. Okay, that you understood what was the task. So okay, we're gonna take a moment here, and we're gonna practice the introduction. I'm gonna tell you just one topic and I want you to come up with an introduction. I want you to tell me an introductory phrase and rephrasing the question. Okay?
Sorry, what? I need to.
We're gonna practice the introduction.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna tell you a topic to talk about.
Yeah.
All you have to do is start with an introductory phrase and then rephrase the question.
Okay.
And that's where you stop. Okay, so let's see how you do it. So this is the topic. Talk about a person you admire. Your introduction.
Um, uh, well, I like to tell you about my dad, who has always been a role model to me.
Yes, that was amazing. That was okay. You started with your introductory phrase. I want to talk about my dad. That's your introduction. There you are preparing the person to hear about your dad, and then rephrasing the question in a very nicely way. I really like how you use the word role model. That was great. Okay. Now, when you are taking notes, the first thing you have to do is take notes about that introduction, and you're not gonna write it down. No, maybe you're gonna write just dad and role model.
Okay.
That's it. Gonna say, well, I want to talk about my dad, who, by the way, it was my role model. Okay.
But this is we're talking about the cards, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the cards. So
Okay.
remember, in the cards is when you have to take notes. You have to write down your points.
You just told me one question. I just write two keywords. I just wrote two keywords.
Exactly. You just
Okay.
write the keywords. Okay. Now you have 1 minute to come up with your whole answer. Now you write that, you write role model. I will suggest you to write at least a couple of adjectives there where you can actually take a moment to think about adjectives. So maybe you can say, instead of role model, you can say fantastic role model and a very honest, fun person. And that will be your notes. Yeah, and then you would start your introduction. Well, I want to talk about my dad, who, by the way, it's a fantastic or was a fantastic role model for me because he was always a very honest person to be around and a lot of fun. And that's your introduction with richer adjectives.
Okay.
Right? Let's practice one more time. I'm gonna give you another object, and I want you to type down in the chat box the keywords, and then you send it to the chat box, and then you talk about it. You just mention the intro. Just want to see which words you actually choose to write down. Um, Talk about your favorite band or artist.
like that. Um, well, my favorite my favorite singer has always been Madonna.
All right. That was good. That was a bit too short, and I just have a problem with that because there I didn't hear any adjectives.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that is, believe me, that will have an impact in your speaking. It will, and sometimes we are not used to using adjectives, not even in Spanish. We are very plain when we speak, but it gives texture, flavor to what we say, and that's exactly what we want to communicate. So let's try again. Try to add two adjectives to your intro. Same topic.
Well, my favorite singer has always been Madonna. Even now that she is really old, I think she can still make fantastic music.
That was perfect. That's exactly it. You nailed it. Okay. If you apply this in your IELTS exam, I mean, you're definitely gonna get a good score in the speaking section, right? So, good job there. Good job. Okay. So you write the keywords and the adjectives. That's important. Now let's go with the second part, which is the body. Okay. Now this is what I suggest students to do. Um, During the body, write a keyword for an adjective and a keyword for an example. Okay. And let's talk about Madonna. Let's talk about why do you like Madonna? Well, maybe one reason why you like Madonna is because she's extravagant. And then you think about an example. And number two, she's maybe just a spectacular dancer. Then you think about an example, maybe a video that you like. No, I mean, music, the video music. And that's how you're gonna do the body, just adjectives and a little example. I mean, the keyword to start talking about your example. Then you would go ahead and say, well, I want to talk about Madonna, which is my favorite singer. Even though she's old, she still makes fantastic music. People may say that she's extravagant because she wears very maybe unconventional clothes, but she's always her clothes are always trending fashion, and sometimes I would like to wear the same clothes as she does. And also, she's a spectacular dancer. She has great moves. Even though she's aging, she can still dance much better than most of the people I know. And I particularly like her in the musical video Music, where she wears cowboy boots and a hat and she dances with a combination of electro dance and funk. I don't know. Right? Use the adjectives, you gave the examples, and you add more.
Okay.
Or alrighty, so are you ready to practice?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do it all. You're
Wait.
gonna
What was transitional word?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, and that is so important. Good thing that you mentioned it. Okay, what we want to do is use transitional words from point one to point B. For example, in this case, I am talking about Madonna and I am saying two things that I like about her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The transitional word
you
is
can
was also.
what's also. You can also start with, well, first of all, I like she's her clothes, she's extravagant, whatever. Secondly, this. Okay, you have to mark. Those are like look at here. When you have a list and you put like a little star or a little asterisk at the beginning of each item, that is
Yeah.
the transitional word. At the beginning of each item, at the beginning of each of your points, you're gonna start with a transitional word to show move to a different topic. That helps you keep organized your speaking.
Okay.
Let's start with very simple transitional words. Let's start with um,
It's the same the linking words.
not exactly the same, but because linking words more options than that. Linking words if you can use linking words here, that will be spectacular. Okay, but transitional words are simpler. Transitional words is like if you said, okay, number one, Madonna sings really well. Number two, she dances amazingly. Number three, she's pretty. Number four, she's athletic. Now, instead of saying number one, number two, number three, and number four, you're gonna use phrases. So, first of all, she wears great clothes. Secondly, she dances spectacularly. Besides that, she has a very beautiful face. And finally, she's in a very good shape. So instead of using numbers, you're gonna use transitional words to go from one topic to the next topic to the next topic. Okay, let's practice this set of transitional words. Almost has to be the one. Then the secondly, besides, and finally, in case you have to go to 4 items. If you're talking about 2 items, you can say first and foremost, and then finally. Um, I always recommend students to just go over maybe 2 transitional words for each point. Okay, so maybe first of all and secondly, first of all and finally, uh, first of all or first and besides. Just go for 2 topics, two different points for each topic.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, let's see how you do it. Favorite music. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to write the intro. I mean the keywords of the intro and the keywords of your adjective plus example of your body. Just come up with 2 items.
Um, like you did in point 1 and 2.
Exactly.
How do you say género? But in I mean, it's not gender, right?
No, it is a genre.
Genre.
Gender, it's male or female. Genre is pop, rock, etc.
Oh, okay, like that.
Okay, let me go ahead. Let me check. It is, yeah, it's just it's with like this.
Okay.
Wait. I'm sorry. I just checked that your spelling is correct. My spelling is incorrect. Yeah, it's just like you spelled it.
Okay. Yeah.
Genre.
Okay. Um, well, my favorite genre music is jazz. First of all, because I think it reminds me New York streets. Mm, and because I also enjoy listening blues, and they are, well, for me, I think they are so much similar, and I think both are amazing music.
All right. That sounds pretty good. I would definitely keep that as an intro. Um, I think you gotta expand. You gotta expand a little bit more to make a whole point. And let's go ahead and open a Google document so we can work it out together. Um, well, we have a Google. You have the Google document of the writing. Just open it up and let's work on that.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to one of the last pages and one of the page that it's in blank, and let's go over that. Bless you.
Thanks.
Did you sneeze?
No, I like cup. It's
Ah, you go. Okay. Okay, it's opening. It's taking forever. And ever. Okay. Let's go down, down, down. Let's scroll down. Okay, I'm on page. I think I'm on page 5, right? Work on page 5. Are you there? I don't see you. I see you there. Okay. So let's put it like this: intro, body, conclusion. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna follow this format: intro, keyword, adjective, body, adjective, sample, and one adjective, sample, and we're gonna leave conclusion blank right now. Okay. All you're gonna do is replace the words, the words that I have written down. For example, famous. Talk about your favorite room house. Obviously, I can't spell room. Okay, check it out. Keyword. Obviously, my favorite room. And I would say bathroom. Adjective, quiet. Body. Um, um, refreshing. Sample, shower. Adjective, um, private. Sample, reading. And that's pretty much all you have to write down. You have at least 3 adjectives ready to include in your speaking, and you have the words just to remember what to talk about. So probably I would go with something like this. Well, I really like my house, but right now I like to talk about this special place for me, which is the bathroom. And in my house, it's the only quiet place. That's my intro. We start with my body. Well, as you know, Veracruz is a very, very hot place, and we only have one air conditioner at home. So when it's really hot, I love going to the bathroom and take a shower. It's very, very refreshing, and after a shower, I feel great. Sometimes I spend 1 hour having my shower and soaping my body up and singing in the shower. And once I leave the bathroom, I feel revitalized. I use these keywords. Also, well, my wife and my son, they can be very noisy, and sometimes I need time to read, and I like to do it in a private space, and there is no other place but the bathroom. So I just go and lock myself up in the bathroom, grab my favorite book, and read it for an hour and a half, and I forget about the world completely.
okay.
I didn't write it all down. I mean, while I was speaking, I was coming up with new stuff. In this case, I didn't use transitional words. Okay, they are important, but not exactly necessarily. But if you can use it much better, you have to do is put them here at the beginning.
Okay.
And you can say, well, first of all, Veracruz is very hot. Secondly, the place where I can go and have some private reading, it's in my bathroom. If I had another one, finally, I also like it because I have a big jacuzzi, and on weekends when my wife is not home, I invite all my friends to the jacuzzi and we drink champagne and watch a soccer game, which is a totally lie, but that's not important.
Okay.
That's all you need. Don't need to, but what is important for you to write is the adjectives. The adjectives are going to give you the key to start talking about that place.
Okay.
Okay, so now replace this. Let me go down. Okay, keyword plus adjectives, adjectives plus examples, and the topic is favorite food. Go ahead.
Mm, is it with C? Oh, with K. Crispy.
Actually, that's correct, crispy.
Mm, all right.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Now you did it exactly the way I told you. Adjective plus example. Now it's time to go ahead and talk about it.
All right. Well, I think my favorite meal is pizza because for me it is so tasty. Um, but for example, I like my pizza really crispy, and I think that my favorite place to eat it is Pizza Hut, and and on the other hand, uh, Yayo's Pizza is I think it's a really bad place to buy it because it it tastes awful. I think it's because it's really cheap there.
All right, that was definitely very well structured because we followed our notes. So that is a big plus. Okay, that's a super plus. Believe me, structure is super important here. Secondly, you you use my advice of using adjective plus examples, which will also very greatly is going to improve your score because you included adjectives. Believe me, you don't know how many students go through this section without saying one single adjective. And then and then they get a low score in the speaking section and they say, "Why, teacher? Why?" All the questions. Yes, but you did not use a good range of vocabulary. But you did not structure your answers. But you did not give details and examples. Okay, and so great. That is definitely the key. Okay, um, so it was good. It was good. I wouldn't say perfect. I didn't. By the way, I didn't notice any grammar mistake, which is also great. They are also marking grammar. I mean, so far we're doing super good. Now, what's the thingy here? Probably you're not gonna even finish a minute here. Okay, and that can happen. Okay, we have the base. Now, don't be afraid to give a little bit more detail while you are speaking. Ask yourself questions. Talk about Pizza Hut. You did not. You talk about who. Did not. You talk about how. These little questions help you out to expand your question. So you can say, I go to Pizza Hut because I like the pizza there is very crispy, and I like the place because it has a air conditioner and the bathrooms are always clean. I go there usually on Saturdays after work. You go with my friends, especially friend or my chick friend. Don't want to don't want to get into too much information. My chick friend Shayla, and she loves pizza too. And sometimes we take hours eating our pizza, or we eat it out in 5 minutes, and then we go hit the mall. I mean, I say when I go there, who I go with, how do I eat my pizza, how do I enjoy it, how do I like it, or how I don't like it. Those little questions, if you ask yourself those questions, you're gonna expand even more, and you're gonna fill up the 2 minutes and even 30 seconds more.
Okay.
All right, so let's close it up with a conclusion. So the conclusion is very simple. We use a closing phrase, and that's why, for example, and summing it up, for these reasons, I mean, literally any phrase that can be that is expressing that you're closing them. And what's up with this for? Okay. Finally, um, you just rephrase the question one more time. For this reason, for these reasons, I love pizza. I like pizza. Pizza is the best. Pizza is my number one food. Pizza. Just rephrase the same question using maybe a different word. No, don't say favorite again. Just try to use a wide vocabulary. Pizza is my favorite pie. Pizza is my favorite Italian food. Pizza, it's the most important, uh, delight I may have in my entire life. I don't know.
Okay.
And then you close. And that's why, summing it up, for these reasons. Okay, let's go ahead and practice. Let me get some real questions from the IELTS page. Awesome. Okay, there you go. Describe a book that had a major influence on you. I'm gonna write it down.
Where, what? Uh, are you writing?
Yeah, just give me a second. I completely lost the document.
Oh, okay.
It's here. Okay. Okay, I just put it in the chat box just for a moment.
So I need to write it down here or in the Google Doc.
No, do it in the Google Doc, please. Just that I think I closed it by mistake. Let me go ahead and open it again.
Okay. How do you say moralejas?
What's the what's the moral?
Moral?
Moral.
Maybe lessons. Mm,
Moral. It's a perfect word. What's the moral? What's the lesson? Edge. What is the learning?
okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second because I'm going to check your time, and I'm gonna tell you more or less how much time you are taking answering the question. Okay, so you may. Crap. It's loading. It's loading. Okay, you may start.
Well, my favorite novel is Alice in Wonderland. I love it because it has so many fantastic fantastic stories in it. Um, Also, I think it's really good for childrens because it is so imaginative. The characters on it are are really amazing. Each of it is really unique. Are really unique. Um, for example, I think my favorite one is the Mad Hatter. Um, I even I even on a play in school, back in school, I did this character. I was the Mad Hatter in that play, and I think it was really funny. I had a lot of fun doing that role, and everyone. I think everyone had a really good time because they were laughing. I guess they enjoy it, right? Um, Also, I like this novel because it is so much educational. Um, when you're reading it, you can relate to the things that happen on the book, even though they talk about really crazy stuff. In the end, all these things leave you with lessons for life. For all these reasons, um, I love this book, and also because it was one of my first books uh, from my childhood. I remember my father gave it to me, and I really enjoy reading it.
All right, that was great. I definitely followed the. I was following how you were speaking about the topic and going over your points, and just stuck to your points, which is great. I mean, that's the key. As long as you stick to your points, you're always on track. You're always on schedule. Okay, you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. So that is key. That is super important. Don't stop doing that. Keep doing that. Stick to your notes. Okay. So that was good. Definitely lots of adjectives. That was fantastic. Keep doing that. Great example about your past and the play. That's what we want. We want detail. We want to relate to what we are talking about. Okay, we want to make it our own. We want to give it a feeling. That's also very important. Make it personal. So all those points, good job, great job.
And
Um, sorry. Okay, time issues. That was an issue. Okay. I stopped taking the time when it was 2 minutes 30, and I think you took like an extra minute. You went too long. Okay, what's the problem with going too long? That probably if you're going over the 2 minutes and 30 seconds, tell you, okay, thank you very much. And it's gonna stop you right there. Okay, and what's the problem with that? The problem is that we didn't get to say a conclusion.
okay.
Okay, and if we didn't get to say a conclusion, well, let me be honest. Okay, a conclusion is not that necessary. Okay, the conclusion is the only part that you may skip. If your points are strong and your intro is strong, maybe the conclusion you can spare it, and you'll be okay. But when you were remember that they give you the points that you have to talk about.
Yeah.
In the example, for example, they give you have the intro and they'll tell you what's your favorite book, when did you read it, um, why do you, and what did you learn from it. So they are gonna give you the points. So here what you're gonna do is the same. You're gonna write an adjective. I read it when I was little, and I want to write an example, like my dad read it to me. I don't know. Why do you like it? Then I'm gonna say in colorful. Example, the Mad Hatter. And then, what did you learn from it? Many lessons. Need an adjective. Many educational lessons. An example. Think about an example. Crying does not solve problems. Okay, so this is basically what you're gonna do. You have the three body parts, and you're gonna write it like this. Now the problem is that if you are speaking your intro, point one, point two, and that's it, you run out of time here, and you didn't mention the third point, that's gonna lower your score. Manage to finish your 3 points and you skip the conclusion, you're gonna make it. But if the time finishes right here and you didn't say the third one, that's gonna lower your score. So that's why you have to practice with the timing yourself. Actually, the best practice is time yourself and record yourself while you do it, and then review. If you review your adjectives, review your grammar, and you will eventually very quickly get better at this. Okay, so today we laid the ground for this task two. We talk about the important aspects. We more or less practice how to do it.
Yes.
Next class, we're gonna completely immerse into this. Okay, next class we're just gonna be doing. I'm just gonna tell you the topic, and I'm gonna give you 1 minute to prepare in a piece of paper. You're gonna write it down, and then you're gonna speak. I'm not gonna check your notes. I'm just gonna check what you say to me, and if it makes sense, and I will give you a score from 1 to 4.
Okay.
You're gonna start having some real practice. Okay, I'm gonna give you a score from 1 to 4, and I'm gonna give you feedback, ways to improve it. And we are about to finish, but before we go, please just allow me 5 minutes to go. You have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Allow me 5 minutes to go for the dons. My presentation here. Okay. Okay. Let me just clarify these points, which are very important. Speak loudly. Okay, it is super important, very very important. Speak loudly. Speak louder than you usually speak. Louder than you usually speak. Go and remember that that day, imagine that person is deaf. Okay, why? Because when you're nervous, you unconsciously lower your voice. That happens to everybody. Unconsciously, you do it. So consciously, you have to raise it to keep it in a normal level. Okay. Um, Obviously, don't speak Spanish. I know it makes sense. It may sound dumb, but even some experienced people when they are nervous. Espérenme, that's gonna lower your score. They do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
Sometimes speak Spanish. ¿Y qué iba? ¿Cómo iba? Los mata. All right. Okay, dons. If possible, for you to take notes. Actually, I'm gonna send you the presentation at the end. Don't memorize answers when you do that. They are trained. Okay, so memorizing stuff and find new words for the vocabulary words that you already know. Find notes, amazing, fantastic.
I can hear you.
Don't write full sentences. Remember those key adjectives.
I can
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can hear you. It is like cutting. I hear what.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
So don't write full sentences, just one or two words. More time for allow you exactly that, exactly 1 minute, and then they will tell you, okay, you stop, and now you may start. Don't, I know you're gonna get nervous.
I can hear you again.
Take a moment to breathe. You can ask a pause. If you're getting too nervous, too shaky, tell the person, may I have a glass of water? May I have a couple of drink a glass of water and relax? I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. May I? Sure, go ahead, drink a glass of water, relax, and continue on. Okay, that's not gonna lower your score. That's perfectly expected. Okay. Very important. Don't focus too much on one point. Remember, you have to go over the 3 points that they give you. So if you one, because maybe in that particular point you have a lot to talk about, you are not going to address the other points. Just stick to your notes. That's the key point. To avoid boring words. Bad. That's not good. Okay, try to find new words, new rich words to talk about. Exciting, enthusiastic, um, amazing, new words. Try to avoid good and bad. I mean, those words shouldn't even be mentioned during your test. Okay. Answers, very important to avoid them. We already know that we have to expand, that we have to ask questions: how, when, where, why. Worry about your accent and your pronunciation. Don't try to fake it. Don't try to sound British if you are not British. Don't try to sound like Jenny from California if you are not Jenny from California.
Okay.
Okay, you are Fabiola from Mexico, and you will have a Mexican accent, and that is absolutely fine. English, it's a language that is spoken all over the world. People in China speak English. People in Iraq speak English, people in Brazil speak English, and everybody has its accent. And that is perfectly fine. Just worry about speaking clearly. Speaking clearly means take your time to speak, take your time to make each sound. Okay, don't eat up sounds. Avoid wanna, gonna. I'm gonna talk about my favorite movie. Try to avoid that. Take your time to speak clearly. I am going to talk about my favorite movie. Okay, and don't worry about mistakes. Okay, this can be. This is very important. Okay, sometimes you are talking about, you're giving your answer, you are super happy because you are doing well, and suddenly you realize you made a mistake while you were speaking, and you say, yesterday I go to the movies, and you realize that you made a mistake. There are two things that you can do in this moment. Number one, if you can correct it, if you are 100% sure that you can correct it, you can go ahead and do that, but don't highlight it. Don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. And instead of saying, I went to the movies, I said, I go to the movies. I am sorry. Okay, that is wrong. And actually, while you say that, you may make more mistakes. Okay, you may say, oh, I'm sorry, but ya quieres decir realize, pero se te olvidó, ya te metiste en un agujero negro. Okay. So the best way to correct a mistake is say, I go to the movies. I mean, went to the movies. Just
Okay.
say I mean and say it. Yesterday I eat a pizza. Oh, sorry, I ate a pizza. That's it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Okay. If you can correct it in a second, do it. If you can't correct it, if you are not sure, leave it like that. Okay. Yesterday I go to the movies, and yesterday I had lunch with my parents, and that's it. If you don't make a big deal out of it, it's not important. Maybe that person didn't even notice it. Okay, that person will notice your confidence, and we all make mistakes, and they know it. And if you don't make a big deal out of it, they won't make a big deal out of it. Okay, so those are some tips. I will be sending you the presentation after the class, so you can have it. Just go over it one more time, or if you prefer, you can go and check it out on YouTube. All my videos are all the videos of the classes are in my channel.
Yeah.
You know it, right?
Yes.
Okay. You don't know I have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I know.
Awesome. So you can go and check it out there, or I'll send you the presentation. And Wednesday, we're going to start practicing very hard the real deal. Okay. We're going to go over practice, 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 and feedback, and get you ready for that exam, which is getting closer, by the way. May 20th?
21. But no, yeah. But they told me that the speaking test is going to be sooner. I think a week sooner. So
Yeah, so we are doing the right thing then.
yeah.
We gotta focus on the speaking test. Once you pass the speaking test, I mean, once it's done, let's try to go very hard on the writing, reading, which is pretty much what we have to write and read. And I think listening. I think listening really it's a skill that we really can't improve that much. Okay, all the best you can do is what I told you. Practice listening to people spelling names and numbers, because that is where students make the most mistakes.
Okay.
They can't write the correct name. They can't write the correct spelling. But once we finish with the speaking, we're gonna go ahead and study very hard that, so we can get you ready for that. Breathe. I'm nervous.
Me too.
We're gonna do okay. We're gonna do okay. Fabi, thank you very much for being here today. You are a great sport. You are a great student. I'm pretty sure you're gonna do okay. Um, we have to practice. We have to get you ready. The more we practice, the less nervous you're gonna be the day, because once that person is okay, let's go to this next section. I'm gonna give you a card, and you're gonna do this, and you'll already know that. Okay. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, I've done this 50 times.
Okay.
I'm ready for the card. Give it to me. Give it to me now. Okay, that's how you had to feel that day. I'm ready for the card. Of course, I've practiced. Okay, and you
Okay.
gotta show that confidence.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, thank you very much, Fabi. My pleasure having you today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully, I'll be seeing you the day after tomorrow.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
You too. Bye.